Welcome to Logly, the world's most popular cloud-based log management system. We centralize your logs so you can solve operational problems fast and be responsive to your customers' needs. There are no agents to install, and everything I show you today works with your free trial. Let's say our company has a critical web service that's timing out. I'll show you how to search for the root cause, monitor the problem, and alert if it happens again. In this dashboard widget, we can see the average response time is just over 300 milliseconds. However, the maximum is above our SLA of 500. That's causing timeouts. To figure out why this is happening, let's drill down by clicking on the Save Search for response time. And this loads our search interface. Here we can see the individual log events below, but they're pretty hard to read in this format. I can get a quick visual representation for what's happening in my system using the trend analysis. Let me plot the average response time in an area chart. And here we can see it's about 300 milliseconds. We can filter down and see the ones over our SLA of 500 milliseconds using a range search. And here you can see the chart redrew itself. Now to figure out why these events are slow, let's look at the top failure codes. I can expand out this particular field and get a summary of the top values. This one is more common than any other. None of one shards return results. Let's filter down on this particular event with a single click. Now, let's think about what we just did. If this were a live operational issue, we wouldn't want to spend minutes grepping through and reading hundreds of log events in a file. Using the visual tools, we were able to quickly identify the slow events and the top failure codes in just a few clicks. How would you use something like this in your company? Now let's say I want to dive even deeper. I can do that by switching to the event view. I can get more detail by expanding this event out. Here you can see that I've extracted each individual field. This happens automatically for syslog, Apache, Java, JSON, and many other types of logs. This is part of the magic that makes Logly so powerful. It's what allows us to populate the filters on the side, do the statistical trend analysis, and even gives us these faceted searches here. Now let's say I want to remember this search for next time. I can do that using a saved search. I'll call it response over SLA. I can even create an alert off this saved search. I'll give it the same name, response over SLA. If this happens more than 25 times in 5 minutes, I'll send myself an email. I can also integrate with PagerDuty, so our on-call person is paged. And we have an HTTP endpoint. This is useful if you want to do something automated like file a ticket. Now let's set up monitoring, so when we get an alert, we can come back to the app and see exactly what's happening. You can see that we saved the search result in this work page. These are actually persistent workspaces. Even if I closed my browser window and came back, it would still be there. Let's call this response over SLA. Another thing we can do is create a dashboard widget. Let's do a count of how often we get events over our SLA. In this bar, we can see there are 32. If the service is healthy, there will be white across the board. If it's unhealthy, like right now, there will be lots of tall blue bars. Let's add this to our dashboard. We'll call it response over SLA. Then we switch to our dashboard and add the widget. We can then rearrange it to get the desired layout. Now let me show you how to get data into Logly. Just click on the source setup page. Here you can see that we have a simple setup script. Just copy this to your clipboard and run it, and this will install the syslog forwarder. We also have an API available, as well as a number of application libraries. This particular API call has something called a tag on it. Tags are really useful because they allow you to group information from related sources. Specifically, you can set up source groups. Let me show you how they work in search. For example, if I have multiple products and I just want to see response time on product 1, I can select that as my source group. Another common pattern is to set them up by environment, such as production, staging, or development. I can see how much log data I'm sending by looking at the account page. Here I can see an overview for how much I've sent. On this day, I sent 93 megabytes. Our Pro plans include peak overage protection, So even if you go over your limit for a given day, we'll still keep your data. We also have the ability to set up archiving in S3. This is useful if you want to keep your logs for a year or more. It's great for audit purposes and can save money on an otherwise lengthy retention period. So, we just went over how to troubleshoot a key operational issue, how to set up a dashboard to get an overview of your system in a single glance, and how to set up alerts to proactively address issues before they impact your end customers. Try this on your own account today.